Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. It's real Nub. It's live Nub. I'm actually back in Ireland, back from Japan. It's been almost a month since I properly recorded a video here. It's crazy. I am back, and for this video, I want to just give you my initial thoughts. And in fact, let's jump into a key so we can actually see this happening in the background. Let's just go. This is the key I ran the first time. Uh, Hydra changes. This is the big thing. Funny enough, right? I feel like I've not really missed out on that much from being away for a month. It's been pretty chill. I skipped. Yeah, I skipped the first the fusion that was on. And apart from that, it feels like nothing has really happened. The main thing that I missed was all of the drama. There's been just drama. That's what I've missed, is drama. But tons and tons of drama around the Hydra clash, right? And the Hydra changes. So let's check them out. Let's see what's happening. I mean, the first thing, can I say that this is a small thing. This doesn't matter, but this annoys me, right? The old version of Hydra, when they were decapitated, their health bars were like a purple. It was a different color to make it more obvious that they're decapitated. I don't know. Now these health bars are red. Like, this doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect anything. But, for me, it's just kind of annoying. It just kind of sucks. And oh, we might actually see it happen. Can we see it? Oh, not quite. We almost had 4 heads right here with the respawn buff at the same time. Hilarious. Yeah, let's talk about it. Needless to say, I don't think I've heard. I've not been really keeping too much up to date, but from everything that I've seen, from the comments I've seen, from talking a bit to other content creators and seeing their videos, people are very unhappy with these Hydra changes. I mean, one thing we can see here in the background as well is we are slamming some of these heads on auto and doing literally 0 damage, and that definitely feels pretty bad. We might actually... Oh, it might happen. Thor weak hit. Can we make it happen? It's going to be close, but I think we might be able to do this. Oh, let's see. Oh, the magic moment. Here it comes. Fantastic. This is great. I didn't realize this would happen. Beautiful. Look at that. 4 heads. All of them completely immune to damage. It's a beautiful sight to behold, isn't it? Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So, right, that's happened. Oh, 0 damage. Oh, boom, big hit, 0 damage. All right, you get the gist. Yeah, I think Plarium promised a bunch of stuff coming into this change and hasn't delivered on it. This is something that I said when they announced that they were doing it, right? When I thought, okay, they're just going to come in and they're going to nerf Wixwell. That was, when this whole drama sort of kicked off. And they said, no, we're not nerfing Wixwell. It's going to be a complex solution to what is a complex problem. And, at the time, I was kind of saying, yeah, okay, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Fair enough. But we'll see what you're going to come up with. I was skeptical for sure about complex solutions, because complex solutions, the more complicated you make something, the more ways there are for it to go wrong. And certainly I would argue, looking at the reaction to everyone to these changes, I think that a lot clearly has gone wrong. By going complicated, you've made a lot of stuff go wrong. There's been a lot of knock-on consequences, and it has not been good. It's not been good. How has this affected people? I put up a poll, actually. This was while I was away. I just want to see how you guys were doing. This was 11 days ago, which was right after this stuff went live, which was, how was your Hydra or clan boss chests affected after today's changes? So obviously not your score, right? It'd be kind of pointless to say, how is your score changed? Because, well, everyone's Hydra score has gone down. And that in itself is not actually necessarily a problem. I don't have a problem with the Hydra score going down. The chests going down, though, that is a bigger deal, because Plarium said, they sort of promised that chests wouldn't be particularly affected by this. You would still be getting the same thing. So what is interesting to me, we've got 3,000 votes on this poll. Only 1/3, only 31% of people said they're still earning the same chests. Now, of course, it's possible that people didn't actually read the poll or vote right. That's always possible. But let's take it at face value here. Plarium is saying most people shouldn't be affected by this. Well, only 31% of people are unaffected. Um, 3% of people didn't affect Hydra, but their clan boss team, they weren't getting the same chests. That's obviously pretty unlikely. 16% of people, it broke both their Hydra and their clan boss teams. That's rough. That is rough. 38% of people, their personal rewards and their Hydra chests. So this is the biggest group. People, just coming in, that's it. What is it? Like 36 million roughly for the top chest on Nightmare Hydra. That's the sort of thing that's being affected. 13% are still, this would be me here. I would be in this camp. I'm still getting the same chests on Demon Lord, no problem. I'm still getting the Hydra chests, no problem. In fact, for me, I'm still earning the same chest just in general, but Hydra personal rewards, that would be the thing that's more likely to be impacted, right? If you're doing 1/3 of the damage you were before and they haven't changed to Hydra personal rewards, it's gonna be rough. So this is sort of where it's at. So look, a ton of people have been affected by this. That's sort of topic number one. And we can see our damage here has gone way, way down. The crux of the problem for me sort of boils down to a couple of things. So let's take a look at a couple of things. You can puzzle about what this racetrack is going to be about. But for me, I think one of the big changes is you've got sort of, in fact, we could see it right here. You've got 3 different states that you can be fighting the Hydra heads in. You can have normal. Unfortunately, the dead head just went away. You can have decapitated heads, normal heads, and then you can have freshly respawned heads. So those are the 3 states of the Hydra head. And I would say before the changes, it would probably have gone, let's go like a light blue, or actually let's go green for normal. So like normal was maybe a big chunk of it. Then decapitated, they would have been decapitated for 2 turns, which for me, and this is, let me be clear, this is fairly end game I'm talking about here. This might not be the case for you if you are earlier game. So that would have been they're decapitated, which actually would have probably been an even bigger chunk for me. Might be that much. Like they're going to spend a lot of time decapitated, certainly on hard. And then they would spend, what, half as much as freshly respawned. So this would be sort of what it'd be like. Most of the time they're alive, then they were decapitated for a big chunk of time. And then for about half of that time, maybe this should be a little bit longer. That looks about right. Yeah, let's make it straight though. That maybe looks a bit better. And then for sort of half the time they're decapitated, right? Because they were decapitated for 2 turns, and then they were freshly respawned for 1 turn. So it'd be about half the amount of time. Now, what I would say would happen now, this is before, I would say after, what is the change? I'd say the change is probably something like this for me. And actually, let's do this. It's gonna be a little bit clunky. That's okay. I don't know. Cut this, and then we move this over. Boom. Okay, great. And like we merge those. All right, and we stretch it out. And I'd say this is more what it looks like, I would say now. So now, this is the new Hydra. Because when they're decapitated, they've got this small little health bar, and we can often actually blow that up pretty quickly. The heads are actually going to be spending a lot less time decapitated. They're going to respawn faster. You can see, and this is part number 1 of the problem. Because when you look at this, how does it feel to play against each of these parts? Feels decent when the heads are alive, right? Sort of the normal state of things. Feels decent. It feels absolutely brilliant when the heads are decapitated. All right, cool. I've killed a head. I'm doing extra damage. They're not doing mechanics. This yellow bar is the part of the fight that feels the best. And then red is the part that feels the worst. It's a freshly respawned head. It has all of its abilities back. It's totally immune, or, basically immune to damage. Before it was like 75%. I actually don't think that's a big deal, by the way. I think being fully immune to damage makes it feel worse, but I don't think it's actually that huge of a deal. I think this is a bigger problem. But this red part, anyway, feels really bad, no matter when. So we look at the new Hydra now, and just in terms of player feeling and experiencing the mode, the yellow part, decapitation, which is the most fun part, the part that feels the best, that feels the most rewarding, that has now been massively shrunk. And then the worst part of the fight has grown, and then sort of the medium part of the fight has massively grown as well. So just in terms of like the parts of the fight that feel good have shrunk, and the parts of the fight that feel kind of bad have grown. It's just not a good trade-off here. On top of that, I think one of the bigger problems, and you can see I was actually trying out Sissia. I should also mention, by the way, at this point, I've been away, like I said, on holiday. This team is not supposed to be an amazing team. This is a team I threw together just to try stuff out and just to have stuff testing and go. I haven't had time yet to sit down and to actually build a Hydra team, which, by the way, is sort of a problem, right? They've lowered the turns in Hydra, which I love. I think that's great. I would love, 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 though, for them to lower the turns in Hydra anymore. It used to be, I think, 1,500. I think now it's down to 1,000. Bring that down to like 500. But obviously, when you do that, everyone's score goes down. So you have to lower the score requirements for other stuff. But I think if you do that, it's great. Because let me tell you, like, these Hydra runs are typically now taking me, even like on auto, taking about 40 minutes, which is a really long amount of time. And that was very striking for me, being on holiday and we're constantly going and doing stuff. Like, even if we were going like, okay, I'm on like this train for half an hour. Can I do Hydra? Nope. Half an hour sitting there on a train. It's the perfect time in my day for me to do. I can't do it. I have to be on a train for at least an hour for it to reasonably be the case. And of course, given that that's the time in the day that I'm most free as well, it then becomes, really awkward because I've got to do my daily quests and stuff like that as well. Sissio is an interesting thing I was trying in this team to counteract one of the problems, because we got another problem. Part 1 is that it feels way worse. Problem part 2, it's because you are killing, because the heads are not decapitated as much, they're respawning, they're coming back way faster. What it means is you are getting stuff like this, Poison Cloud, way more often, and you're getting cleanses way more often, right? This time where the mechanics aren't happening is much lower, and these heads keep coming back and doing their stuff. I found this to be really annoying. It's why I brought in, I've got an Affinity Breaker Sissia with the blessing that lets her place burns through Hydra, through Poison Cloud as well. And the reason for that was just, okay, I want to slap this in on full auto because this is hard and we're doing so much damage. They keep spawning back. Like, I cannot keep up with block buffs. It's just not possible, right? It's not possible. They just keep coming back too fast. Like, this head here still has 2 turns to respawn. We're about to kill him before he's even taken 1 turn. And like, this is on full auto. There we go. He's dead before he's taken a turn. Great. Fantastic. But yeah, it's just like this Poison Cloud keeps coming out. They keep going. They cycle through their abilities way faster. The cleanse keeps coming back so much faster. And that's such a pain to try to get your provokes out, make it provoked. Trying to get, block buffs for Head of Wrath, Suffering, Poison Cloud. Block buffs has become a nightmare. But yeah, I think that stuff just sort of pairs together to become really annoying. Here we kill 2 at a time. So when you kill 2 of them at a time, at the same time, yeah, one of them comes back without the buff, and that's nice. But, as you saw, we are very frequently, if you stagger the deaths in any way, which is very easy to do, very frequently, we already saw it happen at least once during this run, you're getting multiple heads, all with this immune to damage stuff, which feels real bad. But yeah, because we kill these heads so fast, okay, great, now we're back into this cleanse. I don't have a provoke on this team, but if I did, we'd have to have that sync back up, and it makes it really, really awkward to play it on manual, or not on manual, to play it on auto, and to have your control be consistent. It's an absolute nightmare. It really is very frustrating and very annoying. So there we've got 2 impacts of this. Like I said, for me, I've seen a lot of people say like heads being immune to damage is the problem. I think that it just feels bad, but I don't think it's a major problem. I think it's more the fact that they're dead for such a lesser time is the bigger problem, because you cycle through the head's abilities faster. It's way harder to get control, and the fun part of the fight has basically been minimized, which really, really sucks. Anyway, look, I was trying Sissia. It's a new strategy. I'll work on some strats as we go. Now, the other thing to look at is, have they actually fixed any of the problems with Hydra? So that's the whole point of this, right? The complex solution is to stop stuff like, well, Trunda. It's to stop stuff like Trunda. So how has that actually gone? Well, as of right now, and obviously this is all subject to change. Here we have, this is the best non-Trunda team now post-nerf. Now, obviously, these nerfs have only been live for a short amount of time. These teams are going to keep getting a better, I would say, over the next while as people get used to the nerfs and are min-maxing and re-gearing, etc. But as of right now, this is where we're at. This is the best non-Trunda team, which, by the way, is still an hour and a half on Nightmare. An hour and a half. Crazy. 1.78 billion damage. Yesu is the main man here. Cool. The best Trunda team, funny enough, is 5.47 billion. This is the best one. Much lower investment team overall, actually. If you look at this one, we've got nearly everyone with a high blessing, a couple of +4s, +2. The Trunda team is much lower. We do have the 6-star +4 Trunda, and it does seem, certainly with Fina gives you ignore defense. So Trunda definitely is running the Nature's Wrath blessing now. Maybe that Nature's Wrath is just better overall. But you can see we've got multiple champs without blessings or low ones. I mean, we've got some just not great champs technically here, but they're the same faction as Fina. But yeah, Fina with Trunda, this is the current best team right now. 5.47 billion damage, which is crazy. I think it's interesting comparing it to how it was before. So this is where we're at. If we say Trunda, sorry, a non-Trunda team, the Ieyasu team, let's say they go this far around a racing. Now, this is not going to be quite perfect, but it'll give you an idea. If they're doing like 1/4 of the racing track, then these, the Trunda team, even after the nerf, is doing way more. It's doing 3 times as much. 3 times as much. So this is the difference. Non-Trunda teams versus Trunda team. 1/4 of the lap versus 3/4. It's a bit of a brutal difference. It's still a massive problem. Now, here's the thing. Compared to how it was before, it is actually a lot better. So before, Trunda was doing about 10 times as much damage, which would look something like this. Okay, we go 1, get 1 lap. Okay, let's go for another lap. And then we get another half lap in there as well. In fact, let's make that more clear. Another half lap in. So that's how it was before, which is absolutely ridiculous. So this is where we are now. To be fair, this is where we were before, 10 times as much. So there's no question that Trunda's dominance is not like this. Hopefully, this visual illustration makes you see very clearly how ridiculously, absurdly overpowered Trunda was before. And it was crazy. Like, this is just crazy. Like, all respect to the just buff champions to catch up. Like, how do you buff people enough to catch up with this? It's ridiculous. Buffing people to keep up with this is more possible. So they might not need to make any other changes in the future. But at the same time, have they achieved their goals? Or at least what I think, well, let me be more clear. What I think should have been the goal of these changes. Why change Hydra and make it harder? The only reason you would do that is if it is needed, which I don't think it was. I don't think it was, but let's give them benefit of the doubt and say it was. Crazy, but just nerf the champions. They need to be nerfed. Did. But yeah, it's just great. Like, this is still ridiculous. Like, is this a good outcome? No, it's not. Like, Trunda still 3 times more damage than the next best champion, the next best team. That's still too much, in my opinion. So I don't think they've even succeeded. They've broken the Wixwell stuff and taunt stuff and a bunch of stuff, which I think, hurts free-to-play players more. Krakens are still 3 times ahead of lesser, even whales and whatnot. It's crazy, and free-to-plays are still as screwed as they were before. Obviously, a free-to-play is never going to beat a Kraken, but at least you could have a bit more fair competition. It leaves less room, which is very important, less room for whale and Kraken clans to manipulate scores and matchmaking. This is still giving you so much power that you can easily manipulate matchmaking. It's not good. So yeah, it's still not good. It's much better than it was before. There's no question. But is this good enough? I certainly don't think so. And I think when you look at this and you go, okay, sure, you've improved the whole imbalance situation a bit, but not really enough. And on top of that, you've made the game mode, and there's other aspects as well I haven't touched on, but you've made that core game mode worse to play and tougher. It's not great. It's not great. I think with this team is also, by the way, not great. I'd say this team probably does about like 400 million or something. We've got Ursula in as a revive that's bringing us increased attack. That's actually a bit of a problem because Shamail is dead. Ursula, she might miss her revive. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be actually working on these Hydra teams and trying to figure out what's good and not good in the next couple of weeks. Ah, there we go. She revived everyone. We're fine. But that's sort of my goal now. I'm back. At least I will have hopefully some fun trying to build up some good teams and do sort of that stuff. I haven't had time to do it yet. So I've just been throwing in some stuff and hoping it's good enough. That's all I've been able to do so far. But we'll get back to it. But yeah, my thoughts, the Hydra changes seems to be kind of a fail and everyone hates them. Is sort of my thoughts on it. Yeah, kind of a fail and everyone hates them. And I think that's really all that needs to be said. I think that sums it up. Anyway, I am back, guys. Stay tuned for lots more videos coming over the next few days as I get back into the swing of things. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.